Testing, testing. Hello everyone, and welcome to another stream of Solasta, Crown of the Magister. You may notice I've been actually playing one of the DLC quests. I was really marathoning it. I don't know if I'll stream it itself, I actually like it more than the main campaign, but it is a bit glitchy. So, it's very fortunate I had a lot of backup saves, let's just say. Now, where did we leave off? We were doing a side quest in the ruined fortress of Caerleum, and... let me see. Did we? Wait, hold on. I definitely distinctly recall... Huh. Did I accidentally save over it? Okay, this is weird. Well, fortunately I didn't do a lot of progress, so I think we can get away with, doing this one again. These cost an action, and I definitely want to... Let's strike. Critical hit, baby. Now that's a lot of damage. Let's go to the one on the right and switch to our weapon and shield. Let's try and tank it if we can. Okay, it's being invisible. I think they're the only enemies in this game that can turn invisible. Well, there was an enemy mage in the Lost Valley, so of course there's like spellcasters to worry about. And as she's in melee, I should be able to do sneak attack damage with my rogue. And I miserably miss. Who do I want to attack? Well, they're stunned and low on HP, so this should be an easy kill. Alright. Dang. My dwarf is slow and encumbered. I know the Sorak can climb up, but I like being able to surround him. Wow, my cleric is being really lucky lately. Yep, and that one died, as I expected.
Well struck.
Anyway, as I was playing the Lost Valley, I chose a sword and board paladin, and that was a big mistake, because you need one hand free to cast a spell, which meant I was being a lot less spellcasting as of late. The battle cleric is so good because they can have their hands full and still cast spells. That's definitely one of the rules of the tabletop 5th edition that isn't always paid attention to. But I know there's settings where you can cast even with hands full, however it's a decision that apparently has to be made at the beginning of a playthrough, which kind of sucks. I was thinking, oh, I'll just go into options menu and change it, but nope. Oh yes, I remember. I had to quit the game because the game glitched out during the fight with the phase spiders. Yep. But this time I know what to expect. So, we're gonna buff up and stealth up. Okay. So. people with the least amount of HP, I'm going to try and boost. Is there anything else we want to do? Bind Fortitude. Duration until any rest. Well, we already have temporary HP, so, okay. Gonna be sneaking. See, there's Badlands spiders and deep spiders there. Slow and steady wins the race. I don't want them to, like, just suddenly ambush me, you know. And if they do, I'd prefer my high AC characters be in the front, or high HP in the case of Snork the Dwarf. What a silly name. I swear I didn't do that on purpose. I mean, at that point I have to see it. Yep. Alright, we got off a surprise round. Very happy to say it, and it looks like we rolled pretty good on initiative 2. So that's doubly good. And we one-shotted the spider. That's our first action. We're really doing well. Alright. How do we want to do this? Okay, one is down there. One is also down there. One is stuck in the corner in a little hidey hole. So, I think we have a high enough athletics. Let me see. Athletics 2, acrobatics +5. Okay, we can make that. Do I have line of sight to it? Let's see. Yes, I do. Okay. I'm not going to risk incapacitation, because, you know, her athletics suck. Radiant Eldritch Blast. Not that'll matter, because, you know, everyone's on surprise. I'm just going to start raging. Okay, I can still be up there and shoot. I think I'll do just that, because phase spiders can teleport. Yeah, let's jump down there. I still want to keep my sword and shield out.
You should have fled.
Okay, that was dumb of me, but this shouldn't be too hard of a battle. Okay. Our tactics are really paying off right now. I'm happy to report. Okay. He's gonna have to double move anyway, so may as well. Oh no. Oh, the DC was super low. That's fortunate for us. Since it's in melee, this should do sneak attack. It's nearly dead. Alright. And we finish it off. We have one more to go down there. let's continue holding its attention. Will I have line of sight if I go down there? Probably not, but an awful lot of readied actions this round. Can we... Is there any way we can get down there? Apparently not, which is kind of weird. Apparently I do not have line of sight to it. Least active dwarf barbarian. Okay. Okay, now we should at least allow one more room for a dwarf barbarian. Unless we actually kill it. Why is it not letting me click? Okay, really small AC too. Right. All the good loot is down here. Uh-oh. I think the... Excuse me. Looks like all this loot is just ammunition we fired. And of course, like a single spider gland. Not really much. That's the thing with a lot of different types of monsters and encounters in Dungeons and Dragons. Sometimes the treasure value depends on what monster they are, like whether or not they'd be inclined to have certain items. Like, of course, a dragon is going to have a really great treasure hoard, whereas animals, unless they're like magpies or something, aren't really going to collect like valuable objects. It's just not how they roll. Hey, do you remember this place? Because I do. Here's what we're gonna do. We're going to cast Spider Climb on our dwarf. No path to destination? Really? He can't... Okay. Alright, well, since it looks like that doesn't work, let's see if we have a scroll of jump or something. Sleep, Revivify, Fireball, Haste, Lightning Bolt, Burning Hands. Of course, the Barbarian does not have any scrolls whatsoever. Suppose that makes sense. Oh well, looks like we'll have to once again backtrack here someday. Then again, I kind of wish I still had my Scroll of Flight, but on the other hand, we did get a lot of good treasure when we did use it. You win some, you lose some. Right, with this complete. Yep, that's the only quest we really have, and also a main quest about exploring a ruined tower. So I have to bring back the crown to the council. Don't know why it's called Explore the Ruined Tower when it's like, we're not going to a tower just yet. It's for later, I guess. I like how they're saying what they're doing, saying I'm can't, fleeing shoes. Uh-oh, roaming fanatics. A cult fanatic and 2 acolytes. This should not be very hard at all. The funny thing about some of these random encounters is the difficulty is based on like the total XP value. So, even in some cases, you may still fight weak beginner-level enemies if there's a lot of them, because they have enough experience collectively to count as a quote-unquote difficult encounter, when in reality they'd be a cakewalk, particularly if you have area of effect spells. Okay. Okay. we can dash here. Let's try and do that to get at the Cult Fanatic. They are going to be our most dangerous prey. I don't know if they have any, like, concentration spells. I forget their exact spell makeup. Alright. Okay, they're out of dark vision range. Let's see if getting any closer helps with that. Yes, it does. Ideally, this should be a one-shot if it hits, and it is. Now we're going to have our long-ranged spellcaster. Oh well. Out of dark vision range. Still want to give it a shot rather than doing nothing. We can cast Malediction, but don't feel like it. I sort of feel like these people are hardly worth it with only 9 HP. And they also double moved anyway, so it's like... Okay. Where do we want to dash? We may eventually need to climb this, but since he's blocking the ladder, our dwarf may be better served just moving into melee for a guaranteed kill on the Acolyte. We'll do that. Okay, whatever they tried casting, they missed. It was probably a cantrip because they cast an actual spell. That's the funny thing about magical enemies in D&D. Sometimes they obey the rules that the player characters do, sometimes they do not. They're just on the precipice. I'm really tempted to see if I can shove them. On the other hand... You know what, just for fun, let's try it. 4-1 against 2020. They actually roll an opposed check. So it's not just a simple click and you're good. Alright, guaranteed hits. And of course they are dead.
This is destiny.
Let's see. Hopefully they are in dark vision range. Then again, they're on a pretty high elevation. Oh, they are. Good. I also forgot to mention, besides humans and island halflings, dragonborns do not start out with dark vision. However, I'd say in comparison to humans, they would more than make up for it because they have a breath weapon, which deals anywhere from 1d6 to 3d6 sided die of damage of a certain energy type. They also take half damage from an energy type depending on their draconic ancestry. They also get bonuses to strength and charisma, which makes them excellent paladins. Hopefully this will kill him. Just enough. Oh well, maybe the River of Time thing will do the deed. Let's try and make sure they don't start running to the left, because that would be our weak spot. Okay, Kiana has a longbow, and she has a very high dex mod, so even with disadvantage we should hopefully... No, we do not. While we are guaranteed a long rest after this, I don't exactly feel like just blowing every single spell I have. It still feels a bit excessive, even though I know I can get away with it. Alright, let's see what goodies they have for us. Well, since we will be back in town, I don't mind over-encumbering our party in such a way. The Acolyte is probably just gonna have gold and typical equipment, nothing else. Oh, crafting supplies. And a club. One of the most useless weapons. It's simply 1d4 bludgeoning damage. It's akin to a dagger, but unlike a dagger, it is not finesse, so... yeah, check it out. A dagger, at least, while it does a different damage type piercing, it can at least be finessed, meaning high dex characters and low strength ones can use it. A club is also a monk weapon, which is one of the new classes introduced in inner strength, but if I recall correctly, monks do the same amount of damage, also bludgeoning with their bare fists and unarmed strike, and several of their class features are dependent on unarmed strike, so club is sort of like, it's like a backup weapon. You shouldn't really use it as your primary one, but it's good to have just in case, I guess. Like if for some reason... I don't know. There's no reason I can think of using a club when you wouldn't use something like a mace, which is also something any class can use, but does 1 6-sided die of bludgeoning rather than 1 4-sided die. I sort of do get how, while there was an ideal of having, let's give all these different weapon types to give people character classes like the right tool for the right job, but some are still blatantly better than others. It sort of feels like a missed opportunity. I know in the very early editions of D&D in the 80s and 70s, Gary Gygax was fond of making all sorts of different types of weapons with minor differences, particularly pole arms.
We did it! We brought back proof!
How do you feel? Better. Maybe that sickness was nothing.
What about the crowd? You know the council will probably take it.
No!
We can't bullshit them. It's got to be a Sorak thing.
It's our loot. Ours!
Uh-oh.
We have to declare
Starting to affect her.
Value, and they have the right to buy it.
And if it's priceless? Come on. They can do whatever they want. Sure.
I guess we'll see.
Who fought the Soraks? Us or them?
Thanks for taking our warlock side, Kian. The other hand are just lowly adventurers. We're not the ones giving out the orders. Alright. So before we do anything else, is there anything else you want to try? Oh, we're definitely going to be selling off a lot of our loot, but first... we have a Sorak relic to turn in for a quest. Heck yeah. We got Stardust, and we got more relations with the Principality and Scavengers. Stardust is, if I recall correctly, a crafting supply. Speaking of crafting, is there anything our characters can build? Maybe some poisons. Can't say no to more deadly poisons. Right, we have a few days remaining on our recent foray into the outpost. Oh wow. Wow, oh wow. We are definitely going to sell all of that. We now have about 800 gold. Let's get even more. Alright, so let's see, what can we sell? Morning Star, that's something our dwarf would use, not our cleric, who is primarily dex focused. Also, don't need the lever. Scroll of Identify and Mage Armor. Well, we already have actual armor. Also, when we do cast Mage Armor, it lasts long enough. Identify we can cast as Ritual, so... no, actually I don't think we can. So let's just keep it, but sell the Mage Armor at least. No need for a second Holy Symbol. We have one Cleric, really. Long Sword. We already have a Great Sword. We can sell that. Lever, lever. Chainmail +1. Oh, a dwarf has heavy armor, so... oh, they can also... I should equip that handy haversack. That would really increase his load-bearing capabilities. Warhammer can be good for bludgeoning, but we'll just give that to our dwarf. Okay. And the haversack, equipped as a backpack. Our encumbrance increases by a lot. Chainmail +1. Oh, it's heavy armor, not medium. For some reason I thought it was medium. Let's see if it gives a better AC than our dex. Oh. Even our cleric can't get it. They're not proficient with heavy armor even as a battle cleric. Okay. In that case, I suppose we can sell it. For an awful lot of money, and it takes a load off our shoulders. Very good. Okay. Is there any other things we want to give? Okay, you can cast Shatter. You can't cast Detect Poison and Disease. That's gonna go to the Cleric. Just making sure they can cast everything they have. Pretty sure Lightning Bolt and Sleep are Warlock use. And if not, Okay, so we have Slashing, we have Piercing, we have Bludgeoning. And as backup, we have some shooty. These. Oh, an Elven Cloak. Okay, okay. I definitely know it's a magic item, because it's actually a Cloak of Elven Kinds. And that is good, because it's an item you need to attune to. It gives you advantage on stealth checks, and enemies have disadvantage. So it really increases your stealth score across both boards. We definitely want to give that to our thief. In fact, I think this is our first attunable item. Before we forget, let's attune to it right now. You need to take a short rest in order to attune to an item. An attuned item means it cannot be used until you, spiritually meld with it, and you can only attune to a maximum of 3 items, and you can only attune to 1 item per short rest. See, it reached the attunement limit. Attunement was basically introduced in 5th edition as a way to cut down on what is called a magic item tree, Christmas tree effect, which means by later levels you have 12 different magic items equipped, and they're adding up all over the place, and it just gets really hard to keep track of, and it can also make your character really OP. Okay, now we sold some stuff. Let's see if there's anything interesting to buy. Manacalon Rosary. Nobody is proficient with it, but it's kind of the thing I want to have eventually. So we're just going to buy 1 of that. Because there is a feat that can make us proficient with it, and we definitely want that so we can craft our own magic items. Okay, Wand of Identify. It's a rechargeable wand. You can cast it once every dawn. As in, it recharges every dawn. On the other hand, it's really expensive, and there hasn't been a lot of cases where it's like, oh, we've got to cast Identify right now. We don't really have time constraints in this game. Okay. I suppose we could buy more healing potions. But for now, let's see if there's anything at the Magic and Curiosity shop. Once again, different crafting supplies. Ooh. Crafting a manual potion of healing, magic missile, greater healing, restorative ointments. I feel like those can all be useful. Blue diamond, emerald. Potions of giant strength. Expensive, useful, but short-lasting. Okay, this is also a useful item. You attune to it. You are considered proficient with the Manacalon Rosary, and it also increases your crafting speed. Okay, we are definitely buying that as well. is going to be a worthy long-term investment. Okay. Besides that, we just want to make sure we have, okay, we don't have any, scroll of mage armor, fog cloud wounds. Okay. Alright. Now we can craft all sorts of healing potions. That is going to be very useful for our characters proficient into herbalism kit. Which, ironically enough, is our barbarian. And also our cleric. Okay, so who do we want to give the Manacalon Rosary to? We are going to, Restorative Ointment is good. It can cure all sorts of poisonous diseases and also general equipments. And we're going to take another short rest. And attune our warlock. Now let's equip it on her. Oh, even when we attune to an item, we also still have to equip it. Okay. Okay, now she has Manacalon Rosary. But she's still crafting a basic poison. Okay. Short Sword of Acuteness, Battle Axe of Acuteness. All progress and spent ingredients will be lost. We can wait a bit. Okay, we definitely want Battle Axe and Short Sword for our Rogue and Dwarf. Okay, worthy investment. Let me just save. Given how glitchy the Lost Valley was, something tells me I should, start doing more than just 2 save slots, I think.
Lord Karen.
Ah, deputies. I see you found some nice, shiny loot. So, have you brought us the head of a Sorak?
One head, slightly damaged.
I like that.
Marike preserve us. I'm sorry I asked.
At least it's dead. You should have seen it alive.
I can only imagine.
When's the next council meeting?
When? But now, of course. The rumor of your return has already reached the palace. They're waiting for you.
They are?
Well, more for this. But come on.
Now there's a trophy. And by the way, who's crazy now?
All right, you were right and we were wrong. They do exist. Happy now?
Kid, I've seen more than anyone in this town, yet nobody seems
Poor
to
guy.
believe me.
No respect.
Maybe it's a curse.
The curse of being surrounded by idiots.
If you don't mind, Merton, we have
He
business
just,
to
like,
attend to.
immediately clipped back to sitting down.
Say hello to the old lady for me, Karen.
And then he got back up.
Who's this guy again?
Arwen Merton. He used to be a legend. The first scavenger, they say.
Not really a spoiler,
But
but
now,
there
well,
is a side quest
You can see for
involving him.
yourself.
Who's this old lady?
Just ignore him. Let's go.
Ignore him, but we have a new objective to ask about him.
Your thoughts, Dean Fasek?
It could be illusion
I,
magic.
Well, it looks very much as the scriptures describe. Well then, it seems
Once
we
again,
have
the
a
guy on the
problem.
left is clipping through the
disaster.
stone.
We all know what the Sora Akat did on Tirmar.
So is a bit
There's
of that guy's
something else.
cloak.
What?
A crown?
The
Interesting.
crown of the
Very
Magister.
nice find.
We don't want to sell it.
Why not? You know we pay well.
We want to keep it.
I'd like to take a look at it, though.
Come on. Let them take a look.
Thank you.
See those 6 rings in
Any
front?
ideas?
You put gems in them.
It's quite massive. Clearly
So yes, your
imperial in
character's crown
These
appearance changes
ruins
throughout the
remind me
game.
of the Imperial schools of magic.
Not really a
I
big
have a
spoiler,
spell
but I
I'd
wanted
like
to point it
cast
out.
on this.
My lords, this deputy is clearly unwell.
What?
Uh-oh. Not wearing it for prolonged periods, oh god, it is just like the One Ring and Golem. And we're even a halfling to boot. Talk about fortuitous coincidence.
What happened?
Now it's back on.
Where are we? The Temple of Einar. Marshal Beric Sunblaze himself invited us to stay here. We certainly made an impression on the council. They believe you're attuned to the crown, that you
Oh.
can't be separated
We were just
from it.
talking about magical
What?
attunement.
So it is cursed?
They're not sure. All these big brains, and they're stumped. They cast spells on the crown. On you.
Between that and the Sorax, we caused quite a fuss out there. They'll reconvene the council when you're ready. But trust me, there's a lot of people who want to talk to you first.
I think this is one day... we got even more positive relationship. As I was saying, I think this is where the game introduces the faction system. Because it's been long there in the journal, but everyone so far, except for like two people, are really positive. There's the antiquarians, they basically search for knowledge. Then there's the arcanium, magical of the New Empire, which is like this traditionalist elven empire. Circle of Danatar is a minor magic school that's more rough around the edges. Then the scavengers, we know all about them. The Principality of Malscarf, the government we're living in. Tower of Knowledge is about antiquarians, well, not antiquaries, they're preserving knowledge on the Empire. Each faction can give us access to unique goods and special items that only they have. And you primarily earn favor with quests
Thank you
and
for your
giving certain
hospitality.
items to them.
It's the least we can do for the deputies who proved that there are still Sorax on Solasta. You've proved we cannot relax our vigilance. Did you find anything else that could help us track them?
There was a parchment.
If you find it, send for the char.
You can read that.
That last word, it's not Tamarian. It's in the Sorakath tongue.
I knew it.
It means general. You were wise to run.
Also, the fanatics we fought near that old tower. They all had this tattoo on their arm.
It seems to support the idea that they were working for the Sorax under duress.
It is indeed one of their ways. Now this is the A of Erevad.
Can you enlighten us?
Between the myth and what we've seen, it's confusing.
Of course, we paladins and clerics of Einar are the guardians.
That
of
explains
his
how he
memory.
knows the language.
Our ancestors fought the war against the Sorakath.
Or he could be
Their
using
god,
magic.
Sortar, gave them dark powers of treachery, mind reading, and shape changing. They infiltrated the human society, corrupted the hearts of men. At some point, everyone was suspected to be a
Oh god, this
Sorak
kind of
in
reminds me of that David
Distrust
Icke
broke
conspiracy
humanity.
theorist, you know, the
Sortar
reptilians
had won.
and all that.
It corrupted even Erevad, god of the Inquisitors. The gods themselves decided to run away from Tirmar. They opened the rift for the humans to escape to Solasta. Many of them didn't make it. It was a tragedy. At the site of the rift, thousands of Sorak tried to cross. Sortar himself tried. The rift was closed in a gigantic blast. Our kings and heroes, Manacalon's masters of magic, were all wiped out. So, how could Sorax have survived, escaped, and then thrived on Solasta? I suppose that's another one of their tricks. But for those who had survived the war, the Exodus, it was paramount to stay vigilant, to keep the memory alive. The memory of what Sorax were, what they could do, so that if one day they were to return, we'd be ready. I'm sorry to say, after 1,000 years, only a few of us remain. Now, most people believe Sorax are a mere legend. But you brought us proof. The Sorax are not extinct.
How do they get people to worship them?
They get into people's minds, learn their darkest secrets, their fears. their
So not
shameful
only can they
desires.
shapeshift, they
With
can
that,
read minds.
They can blackmail, corrupt, and finally, recruit. It's much easier for them than to duplicate, and very efficient.
We fought different ones. Do you know more?
The bulk of their army are foot soldiers with poisoned spines. They breed a caste of albino priests able to cast spells.
We already saw those.
Some of them are deadly assassins.
We also know
invisible,
this too.
Venomous. Others are giant brutes. The
This could have been
scriptures talk
useful
of
to
elite
tell
warriors,
us
anti-paladins,
before
the Shikath.
coming through. Okay. So this is interesting. You get more knowledge about monsters by hearing about them from other sources rather than just fighting. I like that touch. Sadly, however, it's not something that is commonly employed. It was employed more in the Lost Valley DLC,
Can they
which
really
I appreciate.
impersonate people?
It's been proven, though it's a long process. They used to kidnap a target, study it for weeks, sometimes months. One of their chosen ones would transform into a perfect duplicate. Upon death, they would return to their original form.
I have some thoughts on the mimic thing, but I'll save them after this convo.
That's all very scary. But thanks. It's going to help us.
You're welcome, deputies. If you find anything else connected to the Sword Akath or their allies, bring it to the temple. Talk to Chaplain Dellen Lark. You will be well rewarded. Whenever you're ready, the council will meet again.
So as I was saying, when they were talking about a Sorak that can shapeshift, but then goes to their true form upon death, there's a similar thing like that already in official Dungeons & Dragons, specifically the Dragonlance setting. So basically, in Dragonlance, the foot soldiers of the evil empire in that game are known as Draconians, which are humanoid dragon people who were created via evil magic from stolen dragon eggs. And there were 5 different types based on the various metallic dragon kinds. One of them, the Sivak, or Silver Draconians, were prized as infiltrators because they could shapeshift. They had other powers as well, like being able to breathe fire and stuff, but when they shapeshift, they would be used to often impersonate someone they recently just killed, but then they would go back to their true form upon death. I don't feel like the Sorakath are explicitly based off of Dragonlance's Draconians. Maybe that specific thing, possibly, but in Solasta's sort of a different type of game. The only real big empire is the New Empire, and from what I've briefly heard, none of the game files themselves, they're sort of like this elven supremacist nation. The threat in Solasta is more like the hidden
My
Sorakath,
name is Maddie Greenisle.
cultists
I
of
work
an
for
evil
the Tower of
god.
Knowledge.
It's a
I'm
different
just
type
junior
than
aide in the
Dragonlance.
council, but if you ever need to contact my superiors without going through official channels, just see me at the tower, downtown.
Why the sudden interest in us?
You proved
Your
yourselves
crown.
invaluable. Now, we in the Tower of Knowledge value skilled adventurers. If you find anything of historical value, we'll pay well. And, you know, if things go well, we might share some of our own secrets.
All right. We'll think about it.
And just from talking or saying, well, think about it, we got a +10 score with them. That's kind of funny. Okay, now there's one other person to talk with. They're all lining up to meet us. We're real celebrities now.
Deputies?
We're in kind of a hurry.
I know. I won't delay you long. My name is Hedlund Shorespell. I represent the Arcaneum.
And the Arcaneum belongs to the New Empire. Do you really want to be seen talking to us?
My business is magic, not politics. And no, I have no quarrel with you. You may not see us Imperials as friends, but we take the Council very seriously. We are particularly interested in anything from the old Empire that you might find in the Badlands. Anything from the Manacalon era Arcaneum. Even more so. Oh, of course, we'd pay you handsomely for this crown, although I know that's not possible.
You're smarter than you look.
Also quite indifferent to mockery. Anyway, we have an unrivaled trove of magical and other knowledge. Think it over. You can find me at the Gravekeep's Cask.
Really? Not at the embassy?
What can I say? I love Martel's beer, even though it tastes like donkey piss.
Call back to the beginning.
What? How did he...
That was our joke on the first day we met. Was he spying on us?
Maybe he just agrees about the taste.
Or maybe word travels fast. Normally they'd ask you if you're transitioned to a new area, but here they just got straight into the loading screen. Interesting. Okay, it's taking a while. Okay, speak of the devil.
Would you have a moment, deputies?
All right,
Third
but
faction.
make it quick.
I'll do my best. I am Joel Foxeye, from the Circle of Denantar.
The same magic school where the princess studies?
Exactly.
Is she a good student? A powerful wizard?
That's not for me to say.
Yeah,
And
you're
you
not gonna
seemed
badmouth
to
the
be in a
princess if
rush.
she's not a good
Fine.
student.
I just want you to know that our Grand Master Edvin Denantar has noticed you.
He talked a lot for sure.
He's a man of great authority. He'd like you to know that our doors are open to you if you'd care to visit us. You can find me at Sunblaze Court.
Interested in Badlands treasures, I suppose. Like everyone else.
Well, if you ever come across old spell books or spell scrolls, we'd love to see them. In return, we have the largest collection of spells and potion recipes you could ever hope to see.
More than the Arcaneum?
They would disagree, but yes. Now, if you were to prefer feeding the new Empire's wizards with more magical knowledge than the Principality, that would be a troubling choice to
Ooh,
many
is
on
that
the
a
council.
threat?
Neutrality means we don't treat you any differently than we treat them.
Of course, neutrality is the rule. Good day to you, deputies.
Gotta say, that hot pink with the silver chainmail isn't really doing it for me. It just looks really weird. So, the primary way you, curry favor with all of these factions is basically giving them treasures. You can, of course, do quests, but on the other hand... Okay, let's find out more when we're in story. We didn't really need to fast travel, but I just felt like it.
Clear skies, my friends.
Do you know Arwin Merton, the so-called first scavenger?
Of course.
That's it.
Merton. It's a painful topic for me. I'd rather not talk about him.
Fair enough.
Well, we're right next to the Gravekeep's Cask. And here he is. I like how the convos have their own unique topics, most of them, if you've seen the upper right.
Here, the Sorak hunters themselves.
It's Merton, right? Arwin Merton.
Damn right.
First scavenger? Where does that come from?
Long story, kid. Short version. When we started crossing the marches to the Badlands, I was one of the first. Now, I'm just the ugliest one left standing.
What should we know about the Badlands? Any advice?
Bring a good cleric with good healing spells.
Already
You'll
got
need-
one.
You're a legend. Why do you seem so sour?
Sour? It's this ale that's sour. That's all. The High and Mighty Council, paying clueless kids like you to go and get killed in the Badlands. But they're not asking good old Arwen. No. Go figure. It's because I got them figured out.
Or maybe you just want to relive your glory days.
The Legacy Council is full of it, acting all united and lovey-dovey while they plot to rob each other. Wouldn't surprise me if some of them were even Sorax in disguise. You know they can shapeshift.
Okay.
Hey, I was right about them hiding in the Badlands, wasn't I?
Ah, and we get experience just for that conversation. Very nice. Now, the funny part is when he says about clerics is interesting in D&D 5th edition. You no longer need to just have a cleric to have healing spells. There are many different classes and subclasses that can also cast healing spells. Particularly in Solasta, the Bard class and the Druid can also do healing spells. In tabletop D&D, there are even some subclasses like the Celestial Pack Warlock that can also heal. So, however, the Cleric is still a good healer because certain things like the Life Domain can free you up to prepare other spells rather than just healing. The Battle Cleric can still prepare certain spells like Cure Wounds, of course, like you see right here, and Aid and Prayer of Healing, but if you had the Life Domain, you're a super healer. You always would have it as your domain spell, whereas the Battle Cleric, we always have Magic Missile, Shield of Faith. In older editions of Dungeons & Dragons, and for certain settings like Dragonlance, clerics, and only clerics, could cast healing spells, which made them a necessity. So I suppose in this case, clerics in this setting are still associated with healing, but they're no longer like a big prerequisite.
Greetings,
Still interesting throwback, though.
Hello.
I am Halman Summer of the Guild of Antiquarians. I'm instructed
Spare me.
to invite you to visit
You're
us
another
at the
quest,
Embassy
faction
of the
quest
Swirl.
giver.
You're based at an embassy. I thought the council was neutral.
We don't have a house of our own in Kaya Kiflin, unlike the Tower of Knowledge. How about that for neutrality? Anyway, we'd be interested in any antiquities you might
knew
bring
it.
back. We pay very well, even for things you might think are worthless.
Like the scavengers.
The scavengers? Well, they'd sell an antique Emperor's sword for its metal value, but we can offer more than gold. Antique magical items, for instance. You'll never find their like elsewhere.
Good to know. Thanks for the invitation.
Honorable council members, please take your seats.
Ah, our crown bearer is up again.
Lord Danantar has the floor.
Thank you. I have confirmed that our deputy is indeed magically attuned to the crown. It is an uncommonly powerful attunement, unlike anything I've seen.
It doesn't count as an
I
attunement
strongly
slot.
recommend against forcing separation.
Chancellor Gormsdottir?
With the council's permission, I'd like to try a little experiment. I have here the gem that Captain Merrin recovered recently. I have reason to believe that it might be as I suspected. It belongs to the crown.
What have you done? Commander, take Her Royal Highness to safety.
No, wait!
So I was saying, the crown, even though there's a limit of free attuned items, even though you can't take it off, it doesn't count against your attunement. So, technically our warlock can have 4 attuned items, which is good. So you don't accidentally screw yourself out of, like, free good items. What's this? Well, this is sort of like a flashback thing where we're playing as an unknown hero fighting a horde of Sorax. And it looks like we're standing in front of a barrier with a bunch of other mages holding them back. So, our character is a high-level paladin. They have a permanent blessed condition. They are also hasted, meaning they can do 2 actions instead of, or act twice during a round. critical character. If they die, the game is over, although I think the game may not necessarily let them die. So what are we going to do? We can get a Shield of Faith up or Branding Smite. Both are concentration. Since we already have a very high AC, may as well go for even better. Sorakath Abominations are big burly bruisers. So yeah, we do an awful lot of damage. And we also attack twice. Since we are hasted, we should attack. Looks like we can attack once more. Alright, that's it. Sorakath Acolyte, 32 HP. Sorakath Warrior. They should be much easier to take out, but we're going to focus on the Abomination as we already attacked. It tried to shove us, but it failed. Oh, that one succeeded, though. Oh no. Jesus, he is hitting hard, and he regenerates to boot. Ugh. Okay, is there any spells we can cast that can be good? Reduce your enemy's attack and saving throws. Yeah, let's keep Branding Smite. It's really only the Abomination and the Priest we have to worry about. The others are just chump change. And it's as good as dead. Okay, if we move, we'll provoke an attack of opportunity. Or if we move too far. Oh! We tried moving and now we can see the assassin. Good, good. That's good for us. We do have a javelin that we can throw at it, but we don't really have any really good area of effect spells. That is a big weakness of the paladin class. So is the fact most of their spells are concentration, meaning we can't have multiple good spells up at once. Another weakness of the paladin. Concentration is another game balance mechanic newly introduced in 5th edition D&D. In prior editions, you could have a bunch of different stacking spells on you, but again, that could easily make your character really overpowered in ways that wasn't intended. So 5th edition said, okay, certain spells will have concentration, and you can only concentrate on them on one spell at a time, and it's possible if you take enough damage, you can lose concentration on a spell. There are certain special things and feats, like in this game, there's something called Flawless Concentration, which lets you, auto-succeed on concentration checks if it does 10 or if an attack does 10 or less damage. Like you see he's doing a con save. I think that's to I don't think that's poison. I think it's to maintain concentration. Yeah, pretty sure it is. Right? Looks like they're just spending most of their time moving. Dang it. Why are they shoving me so much? I'm a big mighty paladin. This shouldn't be happening. I also don't see why I have to keep manually clicking on it too. Usually if I click an enemy with the sword icon, it should trigger an attack. Saboteur, warrior. Let's hit the Saboteur. Good. Killed 2 enemies this round. Still have a bit of hit points, but we are taking a troubling amount of damage. Ah, looks like the battle ended. If we were a high-level wizard, this could have gone so much more quickly. Just pop in a good area of effect spell like Stinking Cloud or Fireball. Boom. Done. But we probably wouldn't have much staying power either. A lot less hit points for one. We probably would have died. So it's probably good they had an NPC paladin we could control.
Are you going to faint again?
If we have another cool cutscene.
The crown wants the other gems back.
What?
I think I can find them. I can feel them.
You said it wasn't sentient.
This is old Manacalon magic. Anything is possible. Let the crown bearer and the other deputies follow that quest. Find the other gems if you can, but keep us informed. In the meantime, we will formulate a response to the Sorax.
Let's vote. Delegates, do you agree?
Your Royal Highness?
Oh, pardon me. Yes, I concur.
To which proposition, Your Highness?
I mean, they should go and find the diamonds, the gems.
So resolved. Let it be recorded. Thank you, honored delegates. The council is now in recess.
What was that? What do you mean the crown wants its missing gems?
I can't explain. I just feel it. Anyway, we have a new mission. All right then. So, where are we going, crown bearer? I think the crown knows.
So we gotta follow the crown bearer's intuition. A new gem quest. The Dark Castle. Secondary quest. Well, it will trigger later, so we only have one more thing to do. We also have an adventure log of prior completed quests and convos. I like that. Here's our bestiary. It says we unlocked approximately half of the enemies. Of course, you notice the knowledge there. The more knowledge you gain, the more of their stat block you unlock, as well as general information. Reach around 29. It also shows their size, medium. Then there's large, there's huge, gargantuan. We already saw large creatures in the form of ogres. I think there are some huge creatures like Remor has, but I have yet to see a gargantuan creature in either here or the Lost Valley. That is something I'm really hoping that they add with more content, because there are some really cool kaiju-style monsters in Dungeons & Dragons, and not just dragons. Now, you may notice we already have some treasures we can give to the various factions, like the archaeological notes. However, I want to hold off on giving any so far yet. Not only do we not have a lot of gold, I also haven't had a lot of time to look up the whatchamacallit. I haven't had time to look up all the specific particular things, so I don't want to end up screwing myself over if I give too much to one faction. Sorry about that, folks, but I figure it's best to be honest in that regard. Ah, travel interrupted. Don't tell me another faction.
A word, please, deputies.
Looks like someone else.
Sure.
Go
What
on.
is this?
Awkward
Command
silence.
word to teleport your party to the city's Imperial Gate.
Fast travel.
We can't do that, I'm pretty sure.
Well, word is that in the Badlands, you may come across functioning major gates.
I already saw Broken Gate
If you do,
in the
use
Fort
this
Border
command word
Fortress.
and you'll be brought back here. Take note of any command word on the gate you find, and you'll be able to return there the same way.
That's fantastic.
Don't get too excited. So far, no one's found any.
Oh, right. Well, thanks anyway.
Stay in the light, senior deputies.
Not only
You too, Captain.
is to fast travel a quality of life, it can bypass the overland thing where you need like rations and random encounters, so it can be a very quick and convenient way around the world. Wait. Yep, let's go there. Okay, we have 14 units of food, and I think with the barbarian survival, we should be able to... If we scroll down to possible gym location, we can see a map of the dotted line. For sake of travel, we're going to stop first at the Carolem outpost. I want to see if we can activate the... whatchamacallit. The gem, or the gate that we saw there. We did fail a relevant check about it, but maybe now that we know, we can. Alright. Uh-oh. We are fighting eagles. But are they normal or giant eagles? Dungeons & Dragons has a monster known as giant eagles. But they're not just larger-sized eagles. They are intelligent, and they are often allies of elves. Okay, these are small, so they aren't the giant eagles I was talking about. Because giant eagles are like the size of horses. You can fly on them as mounts, which is pretty cool. Okay. We can, of course, always do Eldritch Blast, and it's long range enough, but for now, let's do Fiendish Figure. And we have 7 more HP. That's good for us. Let's just cast Malediction on one of them. Okay, is there any buff spell or anything we want to cast on ourselves? Nah, I think I'll just shoot at him. So much for that. I think they have a very high fly speed, so even if we hang it back, they'll still be able to, like, just run up on us. Alright, we're just about in melee range with them. Wow, they do fly fast.
You can take it.
Right. Our battle elf should, at the very least. What do we want to cast as a bonus action? I feel like they'll start moving closer, so let's have our spiritual weapon in the middle. Okay, that was easy. Let's strike.
You were doomed.
Alright, they're all going for a barbarian. Good.
Ow!
Run while you can.
I should have targeted him first. Oh well. And since it's in melee, we can do sneak attack against it. Alright, easy as pie. If I recall, during the early access Kickstarter phase of this game, the Dark Castle quest was like the extent of the amount of content. It was technically the final mission, and then they needed to make more content and further updates. Because this game, I think, was in development in 2018, 2019. It released for sale around 2020. Aw, dang. While I was on the map, I should have switched to I should have switched to the crafting table to start getting crafting those magic items. That I should have done that. Okay. Fortunately, I can do it right now. Once this loading thing finishes up. Come on, any day now, please. Good, good. Alright. Crafting. See? Dwarf can make a potion. Alright, so what do we want? Battle Axe of Acuteness. Acuteness is +1 to hit, +1 to damage. Magical weapons can also bypass the damage resistance and immunities of certain monsters, so they're very good to have. We also have Whiteburn, which does 1d6, looks like acidic damage on top of our things. However, it is a bit harder to craft. So the short sword would be good for our rogue. The battle axe may be good for our let me see first if he has any magical stuff, or if anyone has any magical items. Okay, the rogue already has a short bow +1, so they already have a means of bypassing damage reduction, so we are going to do the battle axe instead. Okay, and just to have them craft stuff, more potions, can't ever say that's a bad idea. And going up. There was that gate at the left side. Let's see if it can do anything. Doo-doo-doo. We are now up there. Nope. Guess when failing to check, we locked ourselves out of it. Oh well. Okay, we have 16 units of food. That should be like 4 more travel plus or minus a sword revival. Okay. 8 days, 8 long rests. 6 days, 5 long rests. Let's do normal. The faster we travel, the more likely we are to get ambushed. Because fast travel, if I recall, does penalties to your perception, which is useful for spotting enemies. And I think traveling slowly, you are more able to. Stealth creatures are in your bear, but we managed to spot. What do we do? Do we want to attack? I mean, 4 bandits and 1 thug. Thug is sort of like a super bandit. I feel confident in our abilities, and they should have some good loot experience and of course rations like the eagles did, so let's try for that. Okay, we got good results. Let's just hope I don't regret them. Bandits individually are very easy to kill. I think they have like only 8 hit points. Let's try getting for cover, or at least up on the rock for better vantage points. Oh yeah, they have 11 hit points. They are easy peasy. Okay. That's an action. Yes.
Well struck.
We are now going to activate Spiritual Weapon. Majority are up there. Hopefully we roll good on damage and one-shot this guy. So close. Well, we still have a surprise round on them, so not too punishing. Okay. Want to go for taking out as many as we can during the surprise round. Malediction, I feel, may not be worth it. Because they drop very quickly anyway. The Thug is the real toughie. They have 32 HP. They also have pack tactics, if I recall.
Impressive move, my friend.
Good, good. And of course we'll rage. Right. If we go up here, we can only see one of them. Okay, that's not good. Guess we'll just stay on the lower elevations for now.
Touche!
Spiritual weapon does not count as an ally for sneak attack purposes. Good to know. I haven't played a rogue in this campaign yet. There's like 12 different classes, so I only have like mixed experience with each of them. Okay, one bandit, bandit. Okay, the Fug's up there, so let's try and take out the farthest-most bandit. Good, good. Really glad we got the surprise round off. These people would be pretty dangerous otherwise, especially if they all got high on initiative.
You can't win!
Right, we have 5. 4 against 5, those are much better odds than what we initially had. Fortunately, as I switched to, he switched from a shield to a bow. Okay. I at least have line of sight there. The thing with small characters is they can't really see over ramps, so that does affect their line of sight. One of the disadvantages of being small. Okay. Since he has 1 HP left, he should die. Yep.
Once more, we prevail!
Okay, so bandit or Fug. I'm going to shoot the bandit. Hopefully I roll high enough and kill him. No, I do not. Oh no. Okay, not too bad. Okay, Fug, bandit. Okay, finish off the weaklings.
You suck.
Our dwarf is not one to mince words. Try to get the spiritual weapon to finish off the bandit. Good. Just enough even at max. Okay, now let's take on the Fug. If we can get him to pay attention to our, if we can get him to pay attention to our highest AC character, that's good. And we also just stunned him just in time. That's also good. Our tactics are paying off. I feel like the archer is going to try and retreat up behind. Even though they have half cover, I still want to try hitting them. Okay. Really paid off for us. And finally, our dwarf can melee. I'll definitely need to look into spells like haste and long strider, if only to get them. No, wait. I think our warlock can cast long strider. I just don't really follow up. So an interesting thing about the survival skill in this game is when it came to knowing like enemy stats, traditionally in D&D, it was one of two ways. It was either metagaming, where you already like read the books and so know what their game stats are, or it was handled in a much more abstract way, like, oh, if your character is a wizard, you probably, or it's about various magical creatures that can be summoned. If your character is a druid, you would know more about like plant and animal monsters and so on and so forth. Sometimes they would call for an intelligence or a knowledge check to see if your characters happen to know something based on the overall rarity of a monster. But there wasn't really any hard and fast rules for that type of stuff in D&D. So in this game, they just said, okay, if you will do survival checks for new and unknown enemies. The more you roll on those checks, the more it reveals. So it gave a hard and fast system to monster knowledge. Alright, we finished crafting the battle axe. That's good. Unfortunately, we do not have another oil of acuteness, so we cannot craft a second thing, the short sword of acuteness yet. Oh, and look how much food units we have. That's like, you consume 1 food unit per person per day, so 4 units per day. Overall, we're doing quite well. We can't really scroll around to see how close we are, relatively speaking, but obviously we are deep into Badlands now. On to 5th out of 8th day. Wonder how many more random encounters will trigger. Ah, we found an apple tree in the middle of this barren wasteland. Must be a sight for sore eyes. Also for its much-needed shade. Okay, we're getting much more closer. Somehow the apple tree gave us more food than an entire deer, which is odd. Probably was a small deer. Poor deer. Okay, goblin cutthroats. We've fought them a lot before, so this should be a familiar battle. Okay, 2 of them have higher elevations, so we're definitely going to want to take care of them. Let's just charge right into the fray. And we'll put a spiritual weapon up there to take care of the ones on the roof. Thinking several steps ahead. So, technically there are normal goblin enemies, just called goblins, which I think have like 5 or 6 HP. Even the skirmishers, which are like a special type, have like very few amounts of HP, even less than bandits. Okay. Ah. The only time you want to see 2 6s is if you're rolling 6-sided dice. Alright. We're gonna want to stay in melee with our rogue, because sneak attack.
Impressive move, my friend.
Like so. Looks like we're gonna just use all our spell slots on goblins. Alright. See, Longstrider. It increases your speed by 2 cells per turn. That's pretty useful.
Nobody has your skills. Bravo.
And it doesn't count as an action, but you can interact with the environment in certain ways, even disabling traps. You just have to move and click on it. If it's something that can be highlighted in yellow, it doesn't count as like an action in combat. Which the game itself does not say, but... Okay. We're gonna move our spiritual weapon a bit closer to that skirmisher up there. Probably won't need to, given our rest of the party is performing quite well. Okay, we actually did some good amounts.
Again, harder.
That thing we cannot push from this angle, at least. Oh no. Good thing we had resistance, so it's basically just a normal hit. Oh man, our luck. But our dwarf is still very strong. Okay. Yeah, this thing can be pushed from the south. Given how tough these cutthroats are proving to be, we're gonna even the odds a bit with some malediction.
I am unbeatable.
Seriously, 3 20s in a row. I think I've only seen that once. It was in the Lost Valley DLC where we had like half my party died to trolls because they had, like, not in a row, but like 4 or 5 different natural 20s when fighting, and trolls, much like ogres, are like big, tough enemies. Unlike goblins, orcs, or ogres, they have claws as natural weapons, so they're fine and dangerous, even if technically naked. They also regenerate hit points every round, unless they're hit by fire or acid, which sort of like nullifies their, cauterizes their wounds or healing capabilities. Ay. Our party is oddly unlucky against these goblins. We're doing much better against the bandits, and they had less. That's kind of funny. Okay, he's nearly dead. That's good. If nothing else, the Sands of Time should kill him. Okay, finally the spiritual weapon is close enough. Its slow speed is one of the downsides of it. Okay, good, good, good. Hopefully we can kill this guy with an arrow shot. That's another thing I like about clerics. Just from their domains alone, they can have a wide variety of rogues. They could... roles, I mean. They could be a rogue or thief type with the trickery domain. They can be more of a pure caster with the sun domain. They can be a backup fighter or even a primary one with the battle domain. Sorry if I hesitated there. For some reason, I'm getting tongue-tied a lot during this game. During the stream. Okay. Oh no. My elf is over-encumbered. We better do something about that. Okay. They don't make you search every individual bags. If bags are close enough, they make you just auto-search all of them, which I like. Very convenient quality of life stuff. Okay, what can we offload onto our other party members? Okay. Okay, he still has quite a bit. Our dwarf will be our pack mule. And we're going to eat a lot of those rations anyway, so... Alright, we're nearly there. Tick-tock. It's apparently higher elevation, so we've got to, like, climb up the mountains. So in 8 days, I think we only had, like, 2 encounters, maybe 3. Sorry if my memory's failing me. Oh, 3, including the eagles, the bandits, the goblins. Yeah, so that's like an encounter like once every 3 days, roughly. Okay, this place looks pretty foreboding. This gym just led us into a swampy place. Okay. We want to cast Aid on everyone but the dwarf. Last 8 hours isn't concentration. That makes it useful for our purposes. Fiendish Vigor. False Life is short, but it lasts for 1 hour, which is a good amount of time. Of course, we see a tree, so we're gonna push it down. Which we can use to cross to gain this access to this barrel. The funny part is pushing down these heavy objects is no matter your strength score, you will be able to do it. Which I kind of find funny. Oh, a farewell letter. Okay. who has it? Where is it? Did I accidentally sort it? Oh, there it is. Sadly, this is not a quest. That person, for all I can tell from guides and stuff, cannot be found in the game. Okay, do we have any sort of special ammunition we want to give? Okay, paralyzed. I like that. There's a lot of poisoned ammunition you can use, which is pretty cool in this game, along with fire ones like this flaming ammunition. Okay, 5 and 5. That's a good amount. Hardly any arrows left for our warlock. Not that that matters. They're already primarily a long-ranged caster with Eldritch Blast. Well, that's foreboding.
Maybe. It's in that direction. That's a good-sized castle. A garrison of 24 at least.
We're not getting in that way.
Could we climb up?
It's too open out here. Would be easy targets. We'll have to find another way. We could just show our Legacy Council credentials. Assuming they're law-abiding folk who will respect the council.
Not too many of those around here, I'm guessing.
Technically, we can go in the front door, but it's very heavily guarded and there's a lot of enemies there. So, we're just gonna go around. That's another thing I like about this game. There are in a lot of dungeons, there's various alternative ways in and around. Alternate routes, secret passages, pushing over stones and trees.
Could be a ranger. Could be a werewolf. Could be something else. You might know something about the castle. It can't hurt to ask.
A bit extreme to just randomly attack some strange guy you see. Alright. I don't like to do it, but it's the best.
Here. I can hear you fine from here. What do you want?
What do you know about that castle over there?
What do you want to know?
Who rules the castle? Or should I ask what, rather than who?
Name's Marjacht. Probably undead, but I've never met him.
Probably undead?
The skeleton archers?
Undead or necromancers, my guess. Everyone I've seen there is undead.
And you're voluntarily living nearby.
Who lives there? What can you tell us about them?
I deal with the guard captain. Name's Adam the 12th. Undead now. He lets us hunt here, and we tell him who comes and goes.
They're on neutral terms.
So you've never been inside the castle?
Non-hostile.
No.
And there's no one else outside the castle?
Just a ghost. A dwarf. Doesn't seem dangerous.
What's the garrison like? Strong? Weak? Monsters?
Undead for sure.
Captain's a wraith, or something similar. The guards mostly skeletons.
Undead? What other abominations are in there?
That's what I've seen from outside. Never been inside.
Many thanks for the information. I didn't catch your name.
Talbot.
I like to name Adam to 12. Kind of shows, I guess, a lack of imagination to family tree. Oh, we have a son. What should we name him? Let's go with Adam. Oh, we have a grandson now. Let's also name him Adam. Great-grandson, Adam also. He just lets us walk into his house. And apparently he lets us loot the place. Apparently all we needed to do was just succeed on a convo check with him. Good thing we found some rations, because it'll be just as long going back as it was going back to Kaer Kiflin as it was going to here. right? Let's give some of the fiery arrows to our thief. Let's see if she's equipped with any of them. Blinded or paralyzed. Both good conditions. On the other hand, since there's going to be a lot of undead are immune to poison, so we probably want to save these things for later. Make sure we got non-poison stuff on our person. Okay. Okay. That all looks good. We have a potion. We haven't had anyone really, quote-unquote, die. This can help save us. We can actually use these items in combat by opening up the thing manually. This just puts it in a quick slot for us. So what do we want to do? Our dwarf has lots of health, so I sort of feel like if he starts taking a lot of damage, it would be good to have a greater potion rather than a lesser one. He'll giant strength. Strength becomes 21. Don't exactly need that. Is there any stuff we want to do? Oh, we can also apply poison to our weapons, but since again it's heavily undead, I don't know how useful they'll be. I'll just keep that slot blank for now. Okay. Yeah, we don't want to go up to the keep entrance just yet. Okay. 44 plus 8. Amusingly, our warlock is the highest HP in the party. That's pretty funny. Okay. Steer clear of the castle. Looks like there's no... I thought that was a side passage. Looks like we can click here, but nothing's happening. Oh well. Okay. It looks like we're going in a graveyard. Oh, the dwarf. It says he's non-hostile. So let's talk to him.
Look, that must be the dwarf ghost we heard about.
Again, let's talk to him.
I'll take information where I can get it, even from a ghost.
Very spiritual of you, cleric. Alright, how do we want to handle this?
Hey you, ghost, get over here.
All right, there's no need to be rude. What do you want?
Our oddly intimidating halfling.
Who lives there?
2 women, a high elf but living and quite old. She's a necromancer of some sort.
And the other?
Once human, but definitely undead now. The Defiler, I think. And she had a gang of ghouls with her. Horrid beasts. I avoided them.
Is there anyone else?
There's a garrison. Skeletons mostly. I avoided them too.
I think we know enough now. Thank you.
Actually, I was hoping to ask you a greater favor.
A favor? How can we help you?
I was killed in this cemetery. Me bones are here somewhere.
And you'd like us to take them home for burial so you can find peace?
Well, yes. But they got a little scattered. The walls, you see.
Now, that's just rude.
As far as I can feel, they are in 3 separate places.
Well, that's just you all over.
It's not just about burial, though of course I'd be grateful for that too. Since I was killed, I carried on studying this necropolis, but I can't touch material things, including pens, so I couldn't update my journal.
Now, that's what I call a work ethic.
And since my spirit is bound to my mortal remains, I can't return to Caer Cieflin to report in person. But if you take my bones back, perhaps my spirit could travel with them, and the knowledge I've recovered won't be lost.
You can rely on us.
Sounds like a fair deal. If we track this quest, it does not show up as dots, so yeah, we have to manually search for the bones. From Legion to 25th to Glorious Dead. Okay, looks like sort of a new area to go. And we can read these individual gravestones. I like these very simple names, like, oh, here's the name, here's the guard, here's when they lived. Not any fancy, oh, beloved husband, father, whatever. Okay. Right, I think we have enough crafting to start working on a second thing, but of course. Alright, let's get to work on that short sword. Our thief will appreciate it, I know. Looks like there's, I think that might be the dwarfs. Yeah, let's check it just to be sure. Ah. Grave robbing. On the plus side, it doesn't change our alignments, so... Light crossbow, unlike heavy crossbow, can be used by all classes, but it does less damage. Whereas a heavy crossbow does 1d10. I think that's what our barbarian has. No, he has a light crossbow. I fooled myself. Cannot go further left, so it looks like we'll, oh, hidden container. Okay, here's the first pile of bones. Okay, wow. Those are some pretty heavy bones. Oh, and it looks like there's a long rest safe area. However, as long rests, you also consume rations. We are going to only want to use it when it's like of the essence. Or like when we're really hurting and low on spells and HP. Okay. Just a bunch of ingredients and more rations. Okay. This must be the second set of bones. I think they only just appeared after we accepted the quest from the dwarf. No, wait, that's that's the place we were at before. Let's go back to the ranger, since they said the wolves have been scattering the bones. Maybe he knows something. Oh, there's also something.
Go in peace before I get tired of being peaceful.
Ooh. He didn't like us intimidating him, I bet. Okay, find the second group of bones. Where's the first group, I wonder? Can't be over there. That's just swamp water. Let's not go in there just yet. Let's just fast travel back to the cemetery. It's been a while since I did this quest. I think it might be somewhere further.
The outside graves were likely for servants and guards. The mausoleum holds a few burials, but its main purpose is to hide this secret entrance. The most important graves are in the catacombs down below.
And by important, you mean rich.
Once again, how appropriate that our cleric is the one telling us this. I wonder if your religion skill had any impact on who says that. Okay. If I recall, this is a... Okay, it looks like we're actually in the guardhouse, but there's some ghouls we may need to fight, so... Let's get the jump on them. Okay, it looks like we're not fighting the entire fortress, just a bit of people. Okay. Okay, we at least, because sometimes if other monsters are in proximity, you can, trigger and get more creatures to join the fight, which are often labeled as, oh, a new contender appears. And, we don't want that, because in the main courtyard there are a lot of enemies. Dang it. Also, as an elf, they have an interesting thing. They are immune to the paralyzing claws of ghouls. Not paralysis in general, just ghouls, which is kind of a bit weird. I don't know what's up with that exactly. Actually, let's go back a bit. That way, if one of them tries to go for our poor hobbit, they'll have to trigger an op attack. Okay, hopefully he's close to death. Okay, now for the Snork the Dwarf. We at the very least want to take out the weakest ones. Okay, not good. On the plus side, since it's surprise attack, we can all keep going. We'll pass. These are just schools. They're not, like, really top tier or important enemies. Let's see what it does. Oh, it's one of the others. Alright. He took all his entire movement just to move. Let's cast Malediction. Bam. Okay, now the rest of them I think are just going to spend their move actions going closer and climbing over the wall. If we had area of effect spells right about now, that would be so good for this. We do not want to be paralyzed, so let's use up one of our spell slots. As a rogue, the spells are more of a backup thing rather than a primary thing, so... Okay. Now... Hopefully this should one-shot him, and it does. Okay. That way, if that one comes down, there's a chance they'll hit the dwarf. Same for these schools. Although they may go for the warlock, so we may need to, you know what? What should I do? Let's try and take out the ones down there.
Touche!
Let's go in back. Two ghouls is worse than one. If this one tries to go from the north. Okay. Being very tactical in who I decide to go after, you see? Just enough. Okay, is it worth it? We have 2 more slots left, so, no, let's hold those out. Yeah, they just have 1 attack, and of that 1 attack, they, let's do that one, and we should finish off the south one with an Eldritch Blast. Easy peasy. Okay, looks like they're both going to attack our cleric. No, wait, they're actually going for the dwarf. That's funny. Well, and even then they miss. Okay, this battle is going very well for us. Very well indeed. Okay. I'm going to keep up Reckless Attack. Okay, we are doing good so far. Now it should trigger Sneak Attack. Now an upgrade that the Rogue class has in comparison to earlier editions, particularly 3rd edition, is Sneak attack works on pretty much anyone, as long as you meet certain conditions. However, in Dungeons and Dragons, in Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition, there were huge amounts of enemies who were just outright immune to sneak attack. Undead being one of them. So in a lot of campaigns that were like undead heavy, like Curse of Strahd or Ravenloft, or Expedition to Castle Ravenloft, you were either strongly discouraged from playing a thief rogue, or you chose certain subclasses or feats which allow you to apply sneak attack to undead. Thankfully, I think they did away with that in 4th edition, and they continued that in 3rd edition, where they said, or they carried that on in 5th edition. They said, yeah, that's a bullshit rule. Alright. Gaining some experience, and we gained some knowledge about ghouls, so... no path to destination. That usually means only our more athletically inclined characters can climb up. No, I want you to do that. Okay, no more bones yet. Okay, how do I want to do this? If we go for that. I think we can go for that if we climb over the wall. We just have to be sneaky and avoid the main foyer. Okay, so okay, it's gonna be our. You know what? Nah, I want my rogue, who is the sneakiest, to go for it. Good. She has a light load, but on the other hand, it's good to get all of these rations when we can, particularly for the way back and long rests. Her characters won't starve to death, it's just if they don't have enough rations, they can't do a long rest. And depending on on what enemies we fight, not being able to do a long rest can be pretty deleterious. Okay. There's a lot of juggling of stuff. Okay. Dare we go here? Yes, I dare.
This drain could be a way in.
Into what? The bathroom's one way and the cesspool the other. Suppose we get down there and it's just 6-inch pipes.
Then we'll look for another way in. But let's try it first.
I sort of feel like I may be skipping ahead with the bones. Let me just quickly check. Dwarf bones. Okay, the first grooms is... Okay, the first group of horns is in the courtyard, past the enterable well on the south side, in a lootable sack and otherwise empty room. Okay. We are on the right track. We are not sequence breaking. Okay, we also seem to be getting a bit low on our ammunition. Fortunately, we can change our arrow ammo, I think one time per turn in battle. So it's not a crisis or emergency.
Tell me we're not going back in there.
Okay, yeah, I sort of get the feeling, this may be a bit ahead, but sort of like in the original game, or in my original playthrough, I did find the dwarf bones a bit later. Okay, scroll of Revify, we know who that's going to. Oh, crafting Scroll of Black Tentacles, that is an arcane spell. Black Tentacles is one of the most useful spells in Dungeons & Dragons in multiple editions. So it is, I think, several purposefold. It creates tentacles that can grapple and damage creatures as an area of effect, so not only is it multi-target, it is also damaging. It also restricts a character's mobility. Furthermore, since it's called Black Tentacles, I think they also exude an aura of darkness, although don't quote me on that, I could be wrong on that count. So they could also limit visibility. All very, very useful abilities. Oh, wait. Okay. We gotta wait for him to come closer. There we go. I just had to wait for it to turn into an arrow. And we are fighting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zombies. Zombies are very slow moving. However, they tend to have a lot of numbers. They're also rather resilient, depending on editions. They can be outright resistant to various physical damage types. Sometimes they may even just outright, let me see, can I turn undead? Yes, I can. It can cause them to flee, but we don't really want them to flee. We want to, why did I just walk right up to them? That was dumb of me. Dead. Now, they're actually less resilient into tabletop, if I recall. In the tabletop game, zombies, whenever they would be reduced to 0 hit points, they could roll a saving throw. And if they succeeded on that saving throw, they would be reduced to 1 HP instead. The only difference is radiant damage, of which they cannot save against. So that was an aspect in tabletop Dungeons & Dragons where zombies were a lot more dangerous. In this, that could be kind of a pain and annoying. Zombies are quite literally meant to be meat shields, so they just did away with that. Alright, still surprised. Okay, let's see if I can shoot any of them with my arrow. No. I hate having to waste movement like this. Even on a success, it's dead. Right? Now, as you can see, we can go over to our second ammo. But before doing that, we're gonna reload. And reloading is basically like a free action in this game, unless you're using Actually, crossbows are different. Crossbows have the loading property, meaning you can only attack once with them, even if you have multi-attack. Okay, we have high enough AC, so we definitely want to tank. I'm pretty sure zombies are immune to stun, or they're so weak it's not really worthwhile, so, And now they're going to attack, after we took out half their number. Again, they don't really have the most accuracy, and when they do hit, they don't have a high bonus. Okay. Alright, we should be able to safely go behind there. Alright, we're still sneaking. They are going to spend... Zombies are slow movement, so I think this counts as dashing for them. Yes, it does. That's another thing about zombies. They are very easy to outmaneuver, particularly if you have characters with ranged attacks. That's one thing I always sort of found hard to believe with a lot of these zombie apocalypse movies. When they are just slow about and shuffling, they should be easy to outrun and outgun. I do get in some zombie movies and shows it's like a virus, so even if you're like zombie free, they can still infect you. But if you're just having zombies as like slow moving, it would be child's play for like a military to take them out, especially in modern 21st century. At least in fantasy, they have like, oh, powered by evil magic, stuff like that. Okay, once again, we have to go up here so we get line of sight. I mean, it looks like you should just be able to peek around a corner of that place, but no. The game is very particular with line of sight.
Sorry.
Why are you apologizing? You hit them for a great amount of damage. And there we go. Alright. Our knowledge has increased. We did not get a lot of experience for that, but yeah, zombies are very much like beginner level. They're like on par with goblins. Okay, silver brooch. That's mostly just for selling. Darts. They are throwable objects. They have shorter range than javelin and do less damage. Do you really want darts? No, we don't. They just take up too much. They're too weighty. Alright, let's keep going. Alright, let's light.
A bit of light won't hurt.
Agreed. Sneaking around with a torch is a bit counterintuitive, but... Okay, I think there's no monsters in this particular section, so we can go off it. There may be monsters behind that doorway, pretty sure not, but we'll re-enter stealth mode once again. Okay, we have a heartstone. That's another crafting ingredient. Alright. Okay. Safe place. And a lootable nightstand. Ooh, an encrypted spellbook. A silver chalice to sell for a bit, and Lazaria's journal. Let's see what's in there. Lazaria's journal. Read. Okay, upstairs trying to speak with Mardruk about it. There's something to be not disturbed. The cataclysm, that happened centuries ago, so yeah, these people are immortal or undead. Or this was written very long ago and its current occupant is dead. Which I doubt, given all the undead we were fighting. An encrypted spellbook. Right, well. Looks like there's only one more place to go. Let me save. And everyone will enter stealth mode. Speak of the devil. A zombie.
We need to do better than that.
Hey, we got a surprise round. Just as it detected us. Ah, looks like it's not just zombies. Okay. Taking a bit of a gamble getting up close, but... No need to use Reckless. They are so easy to hit. Okay, so the apprentices, I think, are up there. Ooh, a critical. Wasted on a mere zombie. Oh well. Okay, do we see them? Yes, we do. Oh well.
Perfect.
Oh, and we still hit them. Good. Right. Nice. Even if you don't have like a stealth build or rogues or whatever, it's still worth it just doing sneak and caution, because when you get a surprise round, it is so worth it. Okay. And that's a miss. No need to waste spells on these guys. They're all chumps.
I am unbeatable.
Am I still out of dark vision range? No, I'm not. Alright, can I hit him? Yes, I can.
This is destiny.
This battle is going very well for us. Then again, these are very easy enemies, so it would be a shame if we were somehow suffering against them. You know what? Just to ensure a death? Bam.
Too bad.
I like how, since our dwarf is the one proficient in survival, he ends up being the one like most knowledgeable about monsters in general. I kind of find that funny. Okay. Oh, there's a bag down there, but we can get it. Okay. And there's some books we can read. And we also all just leveled up. One thing at a time first, though. Experiments of Ophoralis, or Auriphalis, however you pronounce it. Neolus Phalamil, Principles of Animation. Wondering if that's like a callback to Harry Potter. It sounds a lot like Nicholas Flamel. Okay, who do you want to give this to? Unidentified potion. I already know what that potion is. It's a potion of greater healing, which does 8 4-sided dice plus 8. At our current level, it can really easily get us back to full. Okay, roll nitros from your armor, 1 room, 1 face-to-face, our eyes met. Okay, really cliche love poem. Ragni hammer pen. Yep, you're definitely using a pen like a hammer for these analogies. Alright, everybody. Now, level 5 is a very important milestone for leveling up. And we are going to find out why. For those who are unfamiliar with Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, at first level, at 5th level and every 4 levels after, your proficiency bonus increases by 1. We had +2 to +3. It affects everything we would be proficient in, from adding your bonus to your attack rolls, skill checks, and to the save DC and attack modifiers for spells. If you are not proficient with something, you can still do it technically, but you do not add your proficiency bonus. So now it's +3. We will be seeing an increase in various things. Also, we have Uncanny Dodge as a rogue. We can use a reaction to halve an attack's damage. We can only use 1 reaction a round, but that is very useful for our purposes. We don't learn any new spells, but the ones we have are pretty good. And most of our martial classes get an extra attack whenever they'd attack in a round. Normally, they can try and attack 2 times rather than once. Now, the fighter class is unique because at 11th level and 20th level, they gain an additional extra attack, so only the fighter class can attack like 3 to 4 times in a round without the use of magic or spells. Fast movement, we increases 2 stealths if we're not wearing heavy armor, and since we're not proficient with heavy armor in the first place, that's something that'll almost never come up. So now our melee dwarf can get into the melee much quicker. Now, for our cleric, we can now destroy undead rather than just scaring them with turn undead. Decisive Strike, Channel Divinity, can also add more damage in addition to stunning our target, which makes it a bit more useful. Stunning is still a good condition no matter what, even without damage, but this just makes it all the sweeter. Now, for our Warlock, we learn an additional Eldritch Invocation. So, do we want to unlearn any? No, these ones are still pretty good. Repelling Blast is useful because whenever you hit a creature, you can push it up to 2 cells away from you in a straight line. And you can use it to knock enemies off. But it has to be away from you, so positioning still matters. Other things, Bestow Curse, that's a useful debuff, but it's only cast once. Again, Bane also casts once, not exactly all that things. Certain Eldritch Invocations will require certain pacts. In this case, we can bind a creature to your Warlock one more time. You haven't really had to use it all that often, so this. We can also become invisible in dim light or darkness. No. Eldritch Spear, ignore cover. That could be useful because it's always done. Eldritch Slide at Will is good, but we haven't really had much opportunity to use it. Understand all languages and writings. We already understand pretty much every language that matters in this campaign, so we don't need it. We also don't need Mage Armor. We already are proficient in Deception and Persuasion, so we don't need it. Devil's Sight could be useful if we learn the Darkness spells. For now, let's just do Repelling Blast. We are very much a blaster caster, and we are now going to possibly unlearn spells. No, I like the ones we have. Any new class spells? Okay! Now at 5th level, we learn 3rd level magic. Counterspell is one of the most useful spells in the game. You can spend a spell slot, and you will almost always be guaranteed to just automatically negate an enemy's spell cast. Dispel Magic ends active spells. It's sort of like Counterspell, but you don't do it as a reaction and can dispel all sorts of stuff. Fly, we've talked about before, very useful. On the other hand, Hypnotic Pattern charms enemies and basically effectively paralyzes them until they're attacked and thus uncharmed. It's an area of effect illusion spell. Between that and the utility of Fly it's a bit of a hard choice. Hypnotic Pattern or Fly? Hypnotic Pattern or Fly? Okay, I don't know if we level up once more in this, but I don't think we'll regret learning Fly, especially because we recharge on a short rest. Okay, now let's see what spells we want to use for our cleric. Spirit Guardians is a very useful spell. It creates an aura around our cleric that always does damage to enemies in it every round. It does not trigger friendly fire, which makes it really useful. Mass Healing is good because it's cast as a bonus action and it's a multi-target heal. We already have a bunch of scrolls. We're also going to prepare Daylight because there are some enemies which are weakened in Daylight. And since we are encountering quite a bit of undead, we're going to learn that. We're going to choose Bless, Guiding Bolt. Necrotic damage, a lot of undead are resistant or immune to, so we're not going to prepare that one for tonight. Do we want more Cure Wounds on or do we want Blindness? Blindness is a very useful spell that can shut down enemies. On the other hand, this is a pretty punishing dungeon crawl, so that also I think as a Warlock we do not have Blindness, but never mind. Alright, we're a little past 2 hours into this, and I think we have a good stopping point, especially since we all leveled up and I got to show off some cool stuff. We are also now in a dark and spooky castle, which is pretty fun. So, we'll stream this Monday, where I don't know if we'll wrap up this dungeon by then. It is a pretty long dungeon, but on the other hand, with how much great progress we've made in this game already, I have confidence we will. Right. Okay, before doing anything, let's continue crafting potions. Looks like we can't. Oh well. Never mind. Alright, everyone. See you on the next stream. Quasar Night out.